So growing up, story is quite fascinating because I was always the skinny kid, the small kid, the kid that would get picked on, the kid that would be bullied, a lot of those things. And also at the same time, I was also what we would consider an underdog, right? And so for me, when telling the story in the most authentic way, I was like, I have to bring my experiences that I've had growing up as a kid. My aunt, for one, like we very much in terms of family, it's split. So some of us are Catholic, Pentecostal, and then also did I say Catholic already? Yeah, no, Baptist. And so bringing that world to me too, that was a lot of grounding for me as a child, especially going to church and being a part of like those different denominations. And I just want to be true to that to myself too at the same time. There's a number that's referenced 334 that's in the I'm sorry, 338 that's referenced in the movie, and Ezekiel 338, it's talking about prepare. And so basically with that being in mind, that's popping up on the screen on seven's clock, and then we see it in the church. If anybody catches it, it's a little Easter egg. So those moments, the visions that seven are having, it's telling him to prepare and get ready for this battle, get ready for this war, get ready for this new power that he's about to discover about himself. And I think in life that, to me, everything has been in preparation for this moment, for me to be able to tell this story. So I had to go through the things that I had to go through to experience, being the person that got bullied, being picked on, all the things that come along with that, to be able to tell this story in the most authentic and truthful way. And this is what gives me my powers. This is what gives Seven his powers. Everything that we see that him experiencing, the fact that he wants to be a part of, this fraternity, for some reason, he can't seem to, to break that code, but somehow he's under this impression that his dad has always been a part of something major. He just didn't know exactly what that was. And that he also had those powers just as his dad does, right? And I think we miss that. A lot of times we yearn to be a part of something that is, we quote unquote feel like we have to be a part of, but yet we need to know that we're much bigger than that already, like our powers within us. So I think the story in itself speaks to a lot of us growing up, whether you were the bully or whether you the one that's being bullied. I think there's a lot of us in Seven. There's a lot of us that's within Femi, within the Distinguished, especially one of my favorite parts that I just remember writing this beat with Tracy Toms, and I wish my co-writer Rodney was here, but we wrote this really dynamic scene with Tracy Toms between Seven and his mother. And, when she goes into this whole point about we're all fragmented, which is so true. Like, all you got to do is make sure that your pieces are accounted for. And that was so special to me in that moment when we talk about that, because we are, we're all fragmented. We all have different pieces and things in different places and spaces. But as long as we make sure that we account for the things that we need to do, and I mean by this, by doing right by people, everything else is going to be okay, right? Or doing right by the things that we value the most, we're going to be okay. And I think that was something that Seven was wrestling with, because he's trying to, please this vision of himself that doesn't necessarily truly exist, not knowing that he's already enough, So, yeah.
Wow.
So I missed that number reference. Obviously, need to go watch the movie again. That would get me caught up with Holly, who has seen it 3 times. So some great questions loading.
Yeah. So Nolly is on you, but I will say before Nolly comes on, man, I feel the spirit is coming up in here. Do y'all feel that? Like, it just feels like there's a spirit of overwhelming. Like, I'm ready. Because I can tell. I told you was speaking directly to our soul, man. And I'm just like, man, I'm ready. Let me stop. Nolly, I know I'm stupid, Nolly. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I was born this way. It's on you. Go ahead and ask your question.
If it were any other way, I don't think my love for you would be as strong.
All right. I'll be back.
So essentially, kind of like in our group, I'm like the lit nerd, love books. So immediately when you guys were like, yeah, a novel is coming, when I tell you Steph and I were Googling together, okay, and I was like, I don't see nothing. I don't see a date. I need to know when it is, because every time I watch something and I know there's a book, immediately I've downloaded the book. And then immediately I'll go through the book. I'll rewatch the show. I would do comparisons. So I'm waiting. And
yes.
So just think of
You're
me.
ready.
Yes. So that I know. But to kind of go off of that, fantasy has always been pretty European influenced, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's so refreshing to see fantasy kind of be fantasy, but also be so rooted in Black culture. And so I kind of want to hear from you guys, I guess, to like kind of like bring it to our audience. How does the distinguish challenge the idea that fantasy is a white genre? Because I feel like lately we've gotten a lot of what I call here damn, like they'll cast something and they'll cast one of us like here damn so that y'all don't get mad. This does not feel like a here damn. This feels like a damn, this is what I've been asking for. So what's your take on the challenges of, you know, fantasy is white, but this doesn't feel fake. This doesn't feel forced. This feels like the fantasy we know and love.
Well, I mean, Ricky, you should probably answer this one, but I will say one thing before you start, which is that, you know, there's something that Jabbar always mentions this, and I think it's so great, is there's no fear of the church or bringing in faith in this story. And I think in a lot of other versions of fantasy, there's, you know, they separate the worlds. Like, you know, if in the world of Harry Potter, no one's talking about their religion. You know what I mean? But the fact that this story encompasses a sense of magic and powers and mystery, but doesn't ignore that these are the same people, the same culture has deep-seated religious beliefs, and in fact, multiple different religions of belief, it's like hybridizing our world. It's like combining them. And again, it's doing something that I haven't seen another fantasy do. And I think that's a uniquely Black thing, to be able to kind of merge worlds like that. You know what I mean? Right. That's one of my favorite things in the piece.
I would say to kind of go off of the religion aspect of it, I think in terms of Black culture in general, a lot of us, I don't think I have many Black friends that have not stepped into church at the end of the day, right? Because it was like you getting up, brush your teeth, you got breakfast ready to go, and we're heading out to church. I don't care if you're running out, putting up, but we're going to be in church on time. Before the doors even open, we're going to be there waiting for the doors open. And so I thought that was really important just within telling the story, to really capture the Black experience overall. Like, number one, when we think about Black culture as a whole, at the end of the day, I think we really set the bar really high. We just have a lot of people that are mimicking other cultures that like to mimic, you know, what we do, which is fine. However, within that, we're always the ones that's being left behind. And so with this story, I wanted to make sure that we were not being left behind. I wanted to make sure that we were accounting for a lot of the things that we experience on a day-to-day, a lot of things that we wish that we had, because we're always saying, well, I wish we could do this. I wish we can change that. Okay, great. Well, if I go into this fantasy world, I have the powers to make those changes, you know? So it's like, I think this is a really good opportunity for us to escape and experience culture and all the things that we are as Black people in one centered space, for us, by us, with no extra fluff, you know, in between. It's like no one else can tell the story because, number one, it's my story. But beyond that, no one else can tell it better than I can tell it, and really tap into the experience of Black people the way that I can, because I know my people, right? So I just have to say, like, you know, at the end of the day, just seeing all the components that come into place, I still shock myself. I'm not gonna even lie. I'm not gonna hold y'all. Like, I still shock myself from top to bottom, just in terms of like, and Jabbar and Tosin can attest to this too, and the rest of the cast and everybody else, they already know, like, I'm so meticulous. And this also allows me to express my OCD. So when it comes down with like everything that you see within this film, and even another little nugget real quickly, I don't know if you guys caught when the portal starts spinning over the mantle of the fireplace, there's actually a picture of myself. I did notice that. I was like, if Stan Lee can do it, if Jean Favreau can do it, I'm gonna do it.
I know that's right.
As you should. As you should.
Yes, I'm behind the camera, but also you're gonna see me in screen. So that's what we did.
I love it.
For the feature length, we'll foresee some extra cameos from you then, I assume.
Absolutely. I think also with the feature too, you're gonna meet a lot of other people. We're gonna talk about that too. But yeah, there's gonna be a lot of things that you're gonna experience. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because Ricky is an actor. That was his first baby.
Yes, that was my first baby. I've done some shows.
My man is putting himself as an Easter egg in videos. You gotta love that, man. He's already on the way, and he writes stuff as well. Well, listen, I definitely have more to ask, but Ant, if I ain't mistaken, man, you got something to ask as well?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to speak with you guys. This one's for Tosin and Jabbar, right? Jabbar, you've been a little too quiet. I got to pick on you for a second. What was it for you? Like, I'm wondering, what was that personal aha moment or that experience that inspired you to dive into this world of magical Black greatness and powers? Was it legacy? Was it Ricky's pitch? Or was it something that you read in the script that made you say, all right, where do I sign up? Like, I need to be a part of this. And Ricky, I got one for you as well. How did you assemble this cast? Like, you have future stars here. Like, they already dropping hints that they down to play Static Shock or a variant of T'Challa in the future. How did this all come together?
Yo, you guys.
Honestly, I love the intersectionality between the HBCU culture, the church culture, the queer culture. I think those things don't go together. The magic, they don't go together. To any Black grandma who, in the church, they would be like, absolutely not, right? So I think bridging that gap, because a lot of people love magic. A lot of Black people love magic. A lot of Black boys in college, they often go to explore their sexuality in college. Church people often find themselves exploring religion when they're away from home, outside of the confines of, we got to go to church today, we have to go to Bible school. I thought that was brilliant. I thought that described myself. I think that was it felt like me at the time. 7, my name being 7. That's such a biblical number in the Bible. 7 is so strong. It's, we're supposed to forgive 77 times and then 7 times more than that. And it just is it was just so, soon as I read the size, because I didn't have the script at the time, but soon as I read the size, I just knew that I needed to do it. So when me and Ricky did the audition, I remember him being like, all right, do it this way. All right, try it this way. And I just, I feel like every director just sees if you know how to take direction. But I just knew that I needed this role. I asked him, I remember asking him, like, you have anybody else you auditioning? And he was like, yeah, we got like another person, I think, whatever. And I was just like, all right, well, keep me updated, keep me posted, but I knew I wanted this role. And shout out to David. I think we have like Miss David Madrick. Like he's the one who recommended me to Ricky once he, I guess Ricky told him about the project. So shout out to David for even being like, yo, I think I had the perfect guy for you. So yeah, that was definitely my reason why.